Hey, what is going on, guys? Dave from Wake Up It's Football with the Red Zone Blitz, coming to you guys live with Ezra, of course, as always from Idiot Sports Talk. Ezra, a lot of stuff went on this week of football, man. How's it going?
I'm feeling good. It was a rough second week for me, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Despite I just came from work. I just had some arroz, with some rice and beans. You know what the deal is. You okay? You all right, David? You got it confused
No, I'm
about
all right. I was
Spanish?
just making sure my settings were set up, my camera and my mic
I
were
thought
good.
my
And
Spanish just totally flipped you out right there.
no, you said rice and beans, maybe, or rice and
I said
something.
arroz. I just said arroz, then I said rice in English, so I said
Okay,
rice twice.
okay, gotcha. Um, we're gonna get the comments ready right away for you guys. That way, you guys can just start trickling them in.
And we're going to be
Um,
testing out a new Google Hangout app
mhm.
where you guys are be able. We're not sure if it'll work through YouTube, so you guys you'll be our guinea pigs. Well, it's an app where we can, I guess, launch an app and you guys are able to post questions, right? I guess
It
that's what the app is saying we can do.
says ask your audience to submit questions, and they will appear below, where I'll be able to see them. I think Ezra will be able to see them, and then we'll be able to answer them. So I'm not sure how this is gonna work.
Yeah, we're not sure if it's
We
going to
might.
work through YouTube or you have to go through the Google Hangout website. It's direct website. So we'll see. We'll see how it works.
Otherwise, we'll just stick to what we
The
do
usual.
normally with YouTube. Yeah. Posting the link to Facebook, getting everything set up, and we're good to go. So, I mean, just like last week, we talked about some of the teams that impressed us, some of the teams that we really weren't impressed with or were surprised to see them lose. Ezra, let's start off, man. Let's start off with some of those big, high-flying, high-scoring teams that really dominated in week two.
Um, you want to just talk about the off? It's just a passing league. We spoke about this last week. The new NFL is about offense, passing the ball, big plays. It's we know how when we get upset about a rule change, we call it flag football. And in essence, man, it is turning into flag football because you only throw the ball in flag football. Am I right? And it's tough. It's even tougher to see running backs get 100 yards now. It's just all about the passing game, and it's cool to watch. But as a guy that yeah, I used to coach football, not obviously not at no high level. That's obvious. But yeah, I'm a guy that believes in defense. I mean, it's kind of sad to see in some ways. This is a high level, the highest level of American football, and it's just turning into flag football. But if you want to talk about some of these teams, what about the Denver Broncos? Week two, again, they put up 40-plus points against the Giants. That offense is just amazing right now. It's on if it keeps on, it might be on a historic run. So the Broncos, that high-powered offense right now, spectacular.
I'm going to have to go with the Green Bay Packers for my first team. They really came out, I believe the score was, at one point, it was 31-0 against the Washington Redskins. Washington Redskins, again, a team that won that NFC East last year, went to the playoffs. So this team should not be taken lightly, and they looked pretty bad last week.
They
Some
look
people
like
want,
pretty bad for the whole year so far, for the first 2 weeks.
some people want to put the entire blame on RG3. I don't know if that should be the case.
It
That
shouldn't.
that defense did not look good at all. And RG3 is not out there in 11 different positions at the same time. So Redskins didn't look too well. Aaron Rodgers looked like Aaron Rodgers, and my first team of the week that looked very impressive is going to be the Green Bay Packers.
And if you're just talking about, I want to get on the Redskins real quick. I don't want to put all the blame on RG3 because it definitely doesn't deserve it. Because Alfred Morris's first game, he had fumbling problems. It's just that defense looks very old, and that's why I didn't have them winning the division or even contending for a wild card. And I said this plenty of times. RG3 was my last ranked quarterback out of the special four. You know what I'm saying? So RG3, people were talking about Kyle Shanahan needs to put back the read option so he could be successful. People are talking about his health. There's a lot of problems right now with the Redskins. And like I said last year, and I said it through all season, RG3 was not asked to carry the Redskins last year in his rookie year. He got all the hype. He got all the praise. It was a running team, defense, and RG3 was asked to, don't turn the ball over, make some plays with your feet, and you know what, 5 to 10 yards, 15 yards, that's all you get. And this year he's asked to progress as a quarterback, try to carry his team to some wins, and it just hasn't worked out just far. But it's not only his fault.
I still think he's afraid to get hit, and he's afraid to run because
he didn't change the whole offense himself. I think everybody, the front office down, believes they're afraid of him getting hit. But you're changing the player. I've said this before. It's so tough to change a player, and that's what they're doing, and they're suffering because of it.
And like you mentioned this before a while ago. You said they drafted him to give them everything that he has, as in both in the pass and the run game. I don't know if they're trying to change him. I think it's more on RG3 and his decision making when he's in the pocket. A, he doesn't look very comfortable at times, and B, when he does go on the run, he runs out of bounds as soon as he has to. So right now, in his first 2 games, he's not 100%, and I don't know if it's his leg or if it's his head telling him that he's got to, play a little bit differently. But right now, RG3 is not comfortable in the first 2 games I've watched him play.
I'm going to go with more the mental side. I think he's not 100% mentally satisfied maybe with his injury and maybe the coaching staff and the offense, whereas I think it's mostly mental than physical right now. Because, when he does run or in practice, he looks pretty good. I don't know if he has that 4.4 speed, but he looks pretty good. He's still more agile, more athletic than any other quarterback right now, basically.
He sure showed it last year against the Vikings. I was watching that game, man. He turned on the afterburners for them, man. That was a good play. I like that play. But this year, first 2 games, not so much. Have you mentioned that second team of yours that you're really impressed with? That they got a win this week.
It sucks that you said had to get a win.
Or just looked good in your opinion.
Oh man, I'm gonna be biased here. I'm gonna go with my Jets. Okay, I know that was one of the ugliest games. That was the ugliest game of week 2. But the reason why I'm impressed is who thought they were gonna be in the game with the Patriots? How many? Where did you have the Jets ranked in your AFC predictions video? Huh? Where did you have them, Dave?
You have to remember this was before this season.
Answer the question.
I'm going to. I had them 15th in the AFC.
Okay, that means you had either the Jaguars or the Raiders better than the Jets.
I had the Jaguars.
Okay, so there was not a whole lot of expectations for my Jets going into. So far, their defense has looked spectacular. Geno Smith, he's looked like a rookie quarterback, but you've seen flashes of him of making poised, making great decisions, and leading the offense down the field. I know it hasn't translated to a whole lot of points, but keeping in the game with Tom Brady, and we have no offensive weapons. I know the Patriots were dropping balls left and right, but it was the two-way street because the Jets were also dropping balls left and right. And I'm just impressed with the Jets' defense. It just looks incredible right now. And Sheldon Richardson, the guy you was hanging on, had another great game before he got hurt. So I'm really happy how this defense is performing, and this team is performing overall together. I would love to see more points on the board, but I'm not going to complain. And it's not Geno's fault. It's not his fault.
What are your thoughts about D. Milner being benched by Coach Rex Ryan?
It just shows, hey, just because you're the 9th pick overall does not mean you're guaranteed the starting job, and you got to man up. Plain and simple. So I got no problem with that. Hopefully it doesn't translate to, this is the early sign that this guy's going to be a scrub in the league, or maybe I think it was just more of a message. You got to prepare better. you gotta play better if you want to be on the field with this team. And Rex Ryan, he's not playing. He's fighting for his job. So he doesn't care about a 9th pick overall right now and grooming him in his feelings. He wants to keep his job, and his defense has got to keep up if this team wants to stay competitive.
I agree.
So what's your second team?
Second team. How about the Seattle Seahawks? Now, this is a team where everybody's saying, you know what? Very good team. Russell Wilson's a stud. Very, very good defense, but I don't think they're better than the Niners in that division. Well, in my early Super Bowl prediction, very early in the offseason this year, I made the prediction of Seahawks and Broncos. Probably a very popular pick. But that would mean that eventually somewhere down the line, the Niners would have to get knocked out. How about this last weekend? Week 2 in the NFL, 49ers coming into Seattle, and they get absolutely waxed by the Seattle Seahawks. Now, not a lot of points scored early in the game. For once, the first game I've seen Colin Kaepernick very uneasy in the pocket, very jittery. Decision making wasn't great. Remember, this guy has not played a full season of NFL football yet. He still got what? That was his 13th start, I believe it was. Colin Kaepernick is still young. He's very young in the league, guys. You have to be patient with him. Don't jump on the bandwagon right away because he still has to develop. But I'm actually surprised they only put up 3 points. That's the thing that absolutely surprised me the most. They put up 3 points, and flipping the script a little bit here, Seattle was able to put up, I believe it was 29 points on a 49ers defense. So, what do you? I want to know what you guys think who are watching this right now, honestly. Because I know there's a lot more Niners people on the Niners bandwagon than the Seahawks bandwagon. What do you guys think about this game? Do you guys think that the Seahawks are better now? Or do you think it was just one game, the Niners are still the better team in that division? But Ezra, what are your thoughts on this?
You know what? I don't want to take anything away. The Seahawks played amazing. They put a spanking on them, especially in the second half. That defense is legit. But I would like to see it on the road, Seattle Seahawks fans. You guys went 8-0 last year, and you know what? That 12th man is no joke. I read somewhere, okay, Seattle Seahawks at home this past weekend versus the 49ers, they broke the record of the sound barrier at an event, okay, at a sporting event. They broke the record in the game, and later on in the game they broke their own record. Okay, when you have such a home field advantage and the noise erupting like that, and they say that the noise was so big and so loud that it causes pain. So that means when Colin Kaepernick is trying to rally his guys in the huddle or trying to call a play, people can't hear him. There's miscommunication. And it can lead to stuff like this. But I would like to see Seattle do it on the road. You got to win on the road in the NFL to be a legit team, in a Super Bowl legit team. So I got to see it on the road. It's a very nice win, especially early in the year. You put your foot on their necks and you put it down, but I got to see it on the road. Sorry, David. Sorry, Seahawks fans. It was impressive, but please, I need a little extra.
Hey. Everyone's got their own opinion. What's your opinion for your third game?
Oh, man. You know what? There's a lot of honorable mentions I want to give out because I'm not going to talk about these other teams. I want to give a shout-out to the Chargers. They let the first game in Week 1 slip, and this week they beat the super high-powered, insane, mega mad scientist in Chip Kelly and their offense. All right, so they get a little shout out there. The Chargers, they deserve some love. Who else? The Cardinals deserve some love. The Titans, for being so close with the Texans, deserve some love. But I'm going to go with a jet rival, the Dolphins here. Okay, they're 2-0 now. They took down a lot of people's minds. Super Bowl team. A lot of people think the Colts. There's a lot of people that have predicted the Colts to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think they are, okay, but a lot of them have them going to the playoffs. Am I right? Would you go across
Yeah,
the board?
I
A
would
lot
say
of experts had the Colts going to the playoffs, and the Dolphins are 2-0 right now. What can you say? That defense is looking really good, and Ryan Tannehill. We talk about the special four or the special five if you want to include Andy Dalton. But Ryan Tannehill, the man deserves some love too. He's playing really well. He's poised in the pocket, and he's progressing very nicely in this league. The Dolphins, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say they're going to the playoffs because I've said it a million times. I don't like off-season champs, but they're off to a very nice start. And they, even though I hate them because they're my rivals, but they deserve some love. And Lamar Miller too. He was looking good too this past weekend.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, I guess you can say. But remember last year, Arizona Cardinals go 4-0, and everybody and their grandmothers were jumping on that bandwagon. And then you see how they ended out the season. I'm not going to say that's going to happen to the Dolphins. What I'm saying is there's always one or two teams that start out undefeated, 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, and they end out the season at 5-11.
I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case. What I hope for, if my Jets can't win the division, I hope the Bills come out of nowhere because I don't want to see the Patriots win it.
A couple of years ago, they started out like 3-0, I believe it was. I believe they beat the Patriots.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah, they started off on fire.
And then guess what happened? Nothing.
Yeah, I know they fell it. But I think Ryan Tannehill is better than Ryan Fitzpatrick in that scenario and Kevin Kolb. And especially their offensive line is much better than what Kevin Kolb had to deal with last year with the Cardinals.
So I'm gonna stay in this division for my third team. I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with EJ Manuel leading his team with less than a minute left in the game, and 6 seconds left on the clock. One play to go, and he throws it to Stevie Johnson in the back of the end zone. Crowd goes wild. Every time the Bills win, it puts a smile on my face because that franchise has been struggling for a while. It's good to see that team win. I know they're in your division, but I like to see those teams like the Browns, like the Bills, who just can never catch a break.
Are you serious? They went to four Super Bowls in the 90s.
And they didn't win one of them.
Jets haven't been there since '69, and you smile when they win. And you feel bad for them. You cry me a river. You had 4 chances in the 90s. Get out of here, David.
But look, if anybody's team had 4 chances, you're telling me you wouldn't want to root for them the 4th time they were there?
How about look, a team that hasn't had a chance since '69? Okay?
But just think about this. I understand.
I'm thinking about it. It's making me.
You're
making me want to vomit over here.
By the 4th time, you're like, you know what? I hope the Bills just win. Just for the sake of, how awful would it be for the Bills to go to 4 straight and to lose them all? Now, I wouldn't wish that on anybody's team. Maybe the Bears, but nobody else. So they can't catch a break. Like Boomer says, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and sometimes...
Oh, that's so bad. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm going to get sick, okay? You smile when the Bills win. I've never even heard you say. What was the last time you said anything nice about the Jets? Ever, okay?
Last week I said they were I think it was what we just did right now, one of my surprise teams or whatever who did good. I mentioned them. I said your Jets.
Oh man. Okay. All right. It was just you confused me with this Bill stuff and.
They can't catch a break.
I hope they catch a break. An ankle break. No, I don't wish any. Okay, I'm just joking there. I don't wish any harm on any player. I mean that.
Let's go to the power rankings. ESPN's got their new power rankings posted up for this week. Top 5 teams. I'm going to read them off. Tell me if there's anybody in the top 5 that surprises you. Seahawks at number 1. Broncos at number 2. Niners at 3. Texans at 4. And Packers at 5. Is there any team that you think should not be there in the top 5?
All right, okay, because if I say no, yes, you know what? I'm going with your Packers. Sorry, okay. I'm putting the Bears right there. That's right. Better defense. Better running game.
They barely squeaked a game out against the Vikings.
Okay.
They won by 3 against the Bengals.
You guys lost the game, haven't you? Didn't you lose a game?
But who did we lose it to?
Who did you lose? You lost, right? You got spanked. Not even lose. You got spanked.
No, I don't know about spanked.
Oh, man. When a quarterback throws for 441 yards, 17 yards, okay, or whatever it was.
But the score didn't say it. It was 34-28. That's less than a touchdown.
I'm going with the Bears, 2-0 Bears. I'm going with the undefeated Bears. Okay, yeah, they had to squeak by the Vikings, a playoff team from last year that still has Adrian Peterson.
That's about all they have.
Okay. Christian Ponder played okay this week. He played all right. He played okay. But then he was Christian Ponder.
I think he had a couple picks in that game, too.
But I'm going with the Bears.
Okay.
The Bears here.
Bears, I got them at 9, but let's read off 6 through 10. They got the Falcons, the Patriots.
How you have the Falcons?
Falcons at 6, Patriots at 7, Saints at 8, Bears at 9, Bengals at...
You have the Patriots too? Come on, ESPN. They're going too much on in history here. Okay, we're talking about 2013. How do you have the Patriots who struggled against the Bills, who struggled against the Jets, and have them ranked higher than the Bears? Makes no sense to me. I'm tired of this loving of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Okay, this is 2013. This is ridiculous, man. How do you gonna put those ninth?
That is. I disagree with that. I do disagree with that.
Oh,
they barely beat. Who was in the week 1? They barely beat the Bills. They barely beat the Jets. I don't see how the Patriots right now are a top 10 team just because of Tom Brady. His receivers cannot catch anything, and that's almost cost them 2 games. Gronk is coming back, if that means anything. I mean, if Gronkowski is gonna dramatically.
Okay, since we're talking about power rankings, I understand that, but you don't factor in. You factor in when he actually plays.
All they're factoring in is Tom Brady. If you took Tom Brady out of that team right now and said somebody else is just don't worry about the quarterback, where would that Patriots team in that power ranking? Not top 10, I guarantee it. Because every time you think of the Patriots, who do you think of? Tom Brady. You don't think of Vince Wilfork.
Where do they have Cincinnati in this top 10?
They have them at 10 for Cincinnati.
They have Cincinnati. Okay. All right. I have the Patriots higher ranked than Cincinnati. All right. Please. There's too much loving over. I'm sick of it, man. Oh, well. So, let me see. What was the other? Okay, we got. I can't argue with one. Seahawks. I can't argue with the top 4, really. In the 40, I don't know. You could argue the 49ers not deserving to be there also because they got spanked by the Seahawks. It wasn't even a close game. What was it, 29-3?
29-3, yeah.
I don't know. Is that a team that deserves to be ranked 4th? Let me look at this list real quick. Because I don't
want to beat up too much on the Houston Texans at 4 because the 2 games they've won have been close, and the Titans forced an overtime game with them.
The Saints should be higher ranked than the Patriots, the Falcons, who they beat, which makes no sense. It's common sense to me. Common sense to me. You have a better record and you beat them, but you're still lower ranked. Makes no sense. Who does this? I want to read who does this crap. I don't know. I think
the way they do it is what they do is they take 3 or 4 analysts.
Yeah, I see. The rankings are determined by a poll of 6 voters on ESPN.com's NFL staff. John Klain, Ashley Fox, Dan, whatever, a bunch of idiots. That's it.
Yeah, then they pretty much just
they
average out.
Idiot sports talk. That's what they should be on. So I have a problem with this list. Yeah, I do.
And that's a top 10. I mean, we can go to. I don't know if we have time to do all 32.
I'm not gonna go. That's ridiculous.
This is one of the few picks they probably got very accurately is the Jaguars at 32.
Yeah, the Raiders beat them and that's it. Seahawks, you can't argue. Broncos, you can't argue. Maybe even if you flip those 2, you really can't argue that. Texans, even though like you said they were close games, they're still 2-0. But I think the Saints, Bears, are being disrespected, and they're loving the Patriots and Falcons a little too much. They're loving them a little too much.
I'm still surprised you said you're going to put the Bears. What happens if the Packers beat the Bears?
And another thing, the Ravens don't deserve to be there either. They're number 11. You got the Dolphins, the Chiefs, you got the Colts and Chargers behind them. Sorry. The Ravens got destroyed in week 1, and they barely beat the Browns. Huh? What?
I understand. But look at how much of a jump they got from week 1 to week 2. The Chargers boosted up from 26 last week to 16. That's 10 spots.
I don't care.
Hold on. The Chiefs boosted up from 20 to 13. They bumped them up 7 spots. The Dolphins were 17 last week. They bumped them up to 12. That's 5 spots. So what you're saying is accurate according to these 6 analysts, but I think it's what they like to do is they're not going to have the Chargers go from 26 last week all the way to the top 10 this week. That's just not how they rank their teams. It's a little bit more gradual.
I understand that when that's in the middle of the season, where a team has a body of work. But if it's only 2 weeks into the year, you should flip-flop that list up and down, okay? Because you going into the year is based on opinion what power rankings is. So after week 1, it should go based on more of a factual and an opinion. And in week 2, the same thing. So you should be able to flip-flop it everywhere you like. I don't care. They don't want to put a team 32 to top 5 after 2 weeks. It should go like that. If a team goes 2-0 and they show they handled their business, or depending how they won, they deserve it. I don't care where they were ranked in preseason because of your opinion, John Clayton or whoever the hell else. I like John Clayton. He's got cool commercials, but still, I don't blame him. He's a smart guy. Maybe everybody else.
Ezra, how crazy do you think I was for making those comments about NFL players need to have something with their helmets done to reduce injuries and concussions?
Yeah, I thought you were pretty crazy. Was someone asked in the comment box?
No, nobody asked. We'll get to your comments. If you guys are watching right now, throw your comments down below in the comment box. We'll get to those shortly. But I want to talk about some of these helmet-to-helmet hits I saw coming from Brandon Merriweather this last weekend against the Green Bay Packers. Now, Brandon Merriweather missed almost the entire season last year. Forget what the injury was that he had. Comes back this year. It was his second time playing in a game in 18 games. Actually, it was the first run that Eddie Lacy had. Helmet-to-helmet hit from Brandon Merriweather, concusses him, out for the game. A couple plays later, does the same thing to James Starks, except this time Brandon Merriweather knocks himself out with another helmet-to-helmet hit. The league is not going to suspend him. They are going to fine him because he is a repeat offender from 2010 and 2011. He's had hits on Todd Heap, formerly of the Ravens, and somebody else in 2011. Point is, he's a repeat offender. Helmet-to-helmet hits, they do more damage, I think, than... I don't want to say they do more damage than they do protecting players. I think what I'm trying to say is, or what I'm going to keep saying is, they're used as weapons, and I don't like it. Ezra, any thoughts on this?
How about this, okay? Because you said these two banged helmets, right? That's what you said, Eddie Lacy and...
They didn't bang helmets. Merriweather intentionally tried to take Lacy down with his helmet. Lacy was not out to defend himself because Merriweather came just by himself out of the blue and hits him.
Oh, Mayweather's an idiot, first of all. That's why he's not with the Patriots anymore, okay? And even if... We spoke about this before, David. Even if he didn't have a helmet, you don't think a guy... This is the... Touch the top of your head.
If he did not have a... That's my argument. If he does not have a helmet, is he going to lead in with his head?
Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. I don't know. People are, a little crazy out there. There's guys in the UFC that choke each other out, okay? They do uppercuts. They do headbutts in Japan. So I don't know what kind of guy Mayweather is. So there's people out there that does stuff like that, David. They use their heads as weapons, their fists, their feet, their body. Okay, David? Am I right or wrong? There's people like that. And when you have that mentality, which most football players do, this is a violent game. They know what the deal is. Okay? And I'm going to really feel bad for Eddie Lacy, where running backs usually put their head down. Okay? From Pee Wee League and up when they're approaching a defender. It's just that's the nature of their game. So, yes, maybe he still would use his head if he didn't have a helmet. I don't know. I don't have his number. Maybe I'll send him a tweet. Hey, dude, would you still do that? I'll send him a tweet. Let's see if he responds. If not, he's a jerk. Because who doesn't want to talk to Ezra?
Oh, just check it out. Just look it up. It'll be like a 20-second clip after the show. Let's just look how that hit happened. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
We're going to open up to questions from the wonderful audience, patiently waiting to have their questions answered. This one comes from 18 Lockhart. Can there be a team that goes undefeated this season?
Nope.
AKA the Broncos or the Seattle Seahawks?
Nope. Do I have to give reasons? I guess so. All right. That would be cheap if I just say no.
If you want to.
All right. Well, if you ask me who has a better chance, I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. But there's just too much of chance, out of the control of Peyton Manning. Their running game is not spectacular right now. You got Ball. He's having some fumbling problems himself right now. They're having that running back carousel over there. Their defense is not all style. It's very good. It's been solid, but it's not all style. And you already know they got safeties, don't know how to cover certain balls in the air that's been 30 seconds.
Just
Stuff
wait.
like that. What happened?
Wait for Von Miller too. Wait for him to come back.
But they might lose before he comes back. You never know.
That's true.
You never know. And remember, he's out for 6 weeks. Well, another 4 weeks from now. Seahawks, like I said, they got to show me something on the road. They got to win on the road. They went. What was their record last year? 9-7. They had 8 of their wins on the road last year.
Seattle's only 9-7 last year.
I believe they were 9-7 Seattle last year. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment box, but I think they were 9-7. And 8 of them came at home. So, yeah. I'm not gonna go. I don't think any team out there is that spectacular. I'm like, you know what? 16-0. Broncos. If I had to pick one, Broncos, because they have Peyton Manning. They have those offensive weapons. So, and they have a defensive coach and they have a solid defense, but I just don't see them as dominant. So, what about you, Dave?
Seattle actually went 11-5 last year.
Oh, they went 11-5. So they only had 3 road wins last year. Okay, excuse me.
I don't think anyone's going to go undefeated. I mean, we saw how the Patriots did it in 2007 now. Has it been that long?
Yes, since 2007.
They ran the table in the regular season, 16-0. Congratulations, but can you win the Super Bowl? That's what it comes down to. I don't care. We've seen teams go 9-7, like the Giants in the regular season, and go on and win the Super Bowl. I think this is it right here. This is the truest statement that can be made. As long as you can get a ticket to the playoffs in the NFL, it's fair game. It's an even playing field. I don't care if you have to do it 3 games on the road because we've seen that done. I don't care if you're gonna have 2 games at home and then you get your ticket to the Super Bowl.
I like that. I really like what you just said because you almost killed me for picking the Bears to go to the Super Bowl, and you was asking for reasons why. But yeah, go ahead. You can continue, sir.
Oh no, go ahead. What do you mean exactly? I don't.
Well, when I said the Bears were my Super Bowl prediction, okay, well, they were gonna represent the NFC. You're like, huh? The Bears? Are you serious? I'm like, it was almost ridiculous to mention the Bears. And you just said that statement. Then you can run the table. Any team can win in the playoffs. And I totally agree with you. And that includes the Bears, David.
That's fine. That's fair. That's fair. No, but in all seriousness, the Bears, the Vikings, the Lions, I don't care who it is. 1st seed, 6th seed, doesn't matter. As long as you're in the playoffs, we can see anything happen. Example, Seattle. A couple of years ago when they destroyed the Saints. I don't know, did they destroy the Saints? All I remember is Marshawn Lynch destroyed that Saints defense on that one play, but nobody expected Seattle to win that game. And they did. So, undefeated, no. I don't think anybody's going undefeated, and if they did,
it's very tough. It's just
it doesn't happen usually at all.
That's what makes it so special. It just doesn't happen.
All right, we're gonna take the next question from you guys. Did these questions just refreshed on me? I love YouTube, guys. I absolutely love it. And that's a little bit of sarcasm there.
And so right there, we got no questions. They were talking about Seattle going 11-5. Astros start 49.
There's a bunch at the bottom.
He's a 49ers fan, and he says Seattle, damn them. Can't wait for the rematch in December. Okay, that's what I'll be looking. That's the one I'm more interested in on the Seattle side. I want to see it on the road. I do want to see it on the road. And we do have questions on the bottom.
I want to take one from Gaming Victory 300 here. What do you think about DeAndre Hopkins? If you guys don't know who that is, receiver for the Houston Texans, and how he's been playing this season. Now, Hopkins was drafted in the first round by Houston in this draft, so he's a rookie. So far on the year, he's got 12 receptions for 183 yards and 1 touchdown. I think it's a
game-winning touchdown. Game-winning touchdown.
Game-winning touchdown. That was in overtime.
Yep. And he made 2 big catches in that drive, I believe.
It's nice. It's nice to see somebody opposite side of Andre Johnson actually doing something. Kevin Walter. This guy, for the last couple of years in Houston, as your number 2 receiver, yikes. I was never a fan, and now he's not on the team anymore. They needed somebody to be that weapon that Matt Schaub could enjoy having, other than just Andre Johnson. When you think of that receiving core, it was Andre Johnson. I don't know. Now it's going to be Andre Johnson, and hopefully, if DeAndre Hopkins keeps developing, that's going to be the number 2 guy for them. Game winning. He's a game winner. He's a baller.
Hey,
week 2.
Already his second week into his career, he had a big game and big moments, clutch catches, and as a Jets fan, I would love for someone to be able to catch the ball. So he's looking real good, and he's playing great this season. I still thought for a lot of years Houston needs a slot receiver, but now you got a guy that you just can't directly all game double Andre Johnson. Now you got another guy that can kill you.
Green Bay at Cincinnati predictions coming from Teddy C via YouTube. I think this is going to be a great matchup. Ezra, I'm going to let you have this one first.
Oh, Green Bay, Cincinnati. Oh, is it at Cincinnati?
It is. It's going to be played in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Both teams are 1-1.
I don't know. Cincinnati. Man, you're already asking me to make my prediction right here.
Yeah, I mean,
you got the best QB in the league. Okay, blah blah blah. You got great weapons. You got Randall Cobb, and you got that defensive line versus the Packers' weak O line.
Who actually looked good this last weekend.
Oh, but the Cincinnati. Did you see him last night?
Oh, I know.
Against the Steelers, that Pecco, everybody else was just. Oh man, Big Ben didn't have a good time last night. You know what? I have Cincinnati winning the division. They got to win big games. Right now, I'm gonna go with Cincinnati. Because I like their running game. Okay. So they can run the ball. They can play that possession game. And they have a quarterback. If he needs to make some plays, he can. And he's got AJ Green. You got that defensive line. I'm going with Cincinnati.
As a Packer fan, that's the guy I'm scared of. That's the guy who if I'm Dom Capers, defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, I'm thinking, well, how are we going to stop this guy? Because in week 1, Anquan Bolden tore up our defense. in week 2, even though it was garbage yards, Pierre Garçon had his way with that secondary. How are we going to stop one of the best receivers in the league in AJ Green? So that is the number one thing I think the Packers need to key in on for this week when they're game planning. You mentioned the defensive line for the Bengals. You put up the Packers' offensive line against that defensive line, hands down, the Bengals will win that competition. This is tough. I think you're going to have a very good offense who showcased how dangerous they can be against the Redskins, against a very good defense. So I think this is going to come down to the Packers' offense versus Bengals' defense. Gosh. And then you do have AJ Green on the other side of that ball. I don't know. This is tough. I'm going to say Green Bay in a very, very tight game. I'm going to say like a 24-23, like maybe like a last-second field goal or something. I'm going to say Green Bay just because I'm a bit of a homer, and I'm not afraid to admit it. Now, if they were playing the Broncos...
I'm picking the Jets this week. Don't worry about it. I'm picking them every single week for the rest of the year.
No, but you know what? There were times last year where I got criticized by Packer fans. They expect me to pick all 16 games for Green Bay, and I'm not going to do that because I'm good. If I was a fan, which I am, if I was a true NFL fan with no... I would be Green Bay 16 games all the way. But I can't do that. I have an audience. I have a following. People just don't like that. And I understand that. And if I was on the other side of it, I wouldn't like it either. So I'm going to be realistic about it. I'm going to say the Packers are probably going to struggle when it go, offensive line versus that Bengals defense, front seven. That front seven is ridiculous. Top 10 in the league hands down. So I'm going to say Packers and a squeaker. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say 24-23 Green Bay over Cincinnati.
I'm picking my Jets. We have the sexiest backup quarterback in the league, and Mark Sanchez, so that's enough.
Who can't play. How about Matt Sims?
Are you speaking about... Oh, we're going to get into one of these questions because
Go ahead.
There was a rumor coming out, but I want to talk about this first rumor. You heard about that Adam Schefter, he tweeted, I don't know if he tweeted or he said a report that the inside of the Jets front office, if Geno Smith struggles in week 3, they will pull him for Matt Sims. I want to say that's complete BS. I just want to say that's complete BS. I want to think, okay, my Jets are, oh man, believe me, they're stupid. Oh my God. Some incredibly idiotic moves and decisions they've made in the history of that I've been a Jets fan. I'm talking about they're super duper duper stupid, okay? All right, they're like Jamarcus Russell, Titus Young, stupid. But I just can't see no way, all right? Because if he struggles in week 3, they're going to pull him for Matt Sims. They're going to give up on him already. Unless I haven't read that Matt Sims is lining it up in practice. Unless they like, you know what, this guy is the next Tom Brady. I can't believe this. I think the NFL is lacking controversy this first 2 weeks. So you know what? They said, let's create one. So far, 2 weeks of the year, my Jets didn't, the last couple of years, the Jets are a circus. You said this, Dave. Everyone agrees the Jets have been a circus. So far, 2 weeks into the year, with Mark Sanchez being hurt and this, and it hasn't been a circus. So you know what? I think they say, let's create one for the Jets because people love getting on the Jets. They love watching this be a circus. Let's create something. I cannot believe this with any fiber in my body.
I don't know why, when you were talking about your Jets, it actually diverted me to a different team. Because I don't think the Jets are being talked about like they were last year. And as for Matt Sims, I don't know a lot about the guy. I don't know if he's going to play. Probably not. You draft Geno to play. Mark is not there. Mark Sanchez is not there. You draft Geno to play. The Buccaneers are actually catching some news out of their locker room. There's rumors saying that the players voted for captains, and Josh Freeman, the vote got rigged or whatever, and Josh Freeman didn't get picked to be the team captain. Then you got rumors saying Darrelle Revis is upset with Greg Schiano. And
his coaching philosophy. We actually have a question from AstroStar. Did you guys already talk about Revis apparently complaining about Schiano's coaching philosophy? And he says it always seems like there's an issue with Revis.
And, yeah, we hit on it. I don't even know AstroStar asked that, so that's a good question, and we're going to hit on it now then, I guess. The last thing I read about that was Revis and Schiano, I guess, met for 10-15 minutes and talked about it. They cleared the air. But I don't know what there was to, I mean...
I heard something different. I heard that 10-minute, 15-minute talk was about Revis going to Schiano and saying, I've never said anything. I'll do whatever I need to do to help this team win. That's what I heard the conversation was about. Not to clear the air about their coaching strategies or anything like that.
And the one thing I heard that he was disgruntled about was the fact that he likes to play more man-to-man. He likes to jam the receiver. He likes to disrupt receivers, and they're playing him in zone, and I guess he's upset about it. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he's mad at Schiano. These rumors happen all the time. And you know what it is? That's how the media makes their money.
Of course.
They need stories. They need something to talk about, and this is why they just create things, man.
And you know what? Let me tell you something, guys. The media loves taking stuff out of context or blowing something up. This could have been Revis. Let me give you this is me doing a reenactment of maybe Revis complaining about Schiano's thing. A player asked him, yo, bro, like, do you wish they were playing more man-to-man? Yeah, that's how I made my money. I wish we was playing more man-to-man. Someone heard it. Oh, my God, Revis is complaining about the philosophy in Tampa Bay. Schiano needs to be out of here. There's controversy left and right. Revis wants more man-to-man. You think I'm joking, but a lot of times the media, they need to create stuff. I'm not saying this was not possible. Maybe Revis did go, you know what, I'm tired of this crap already after week 2. That's very much possible. I don't want to discredit the media, okay, because a lot of times when there's smoke, there's fire. But let's not take the media's word as gospel. It is not, we shouldn't even take gospel for gospel, all right? All right, that's another subject, another day. But my point is, don't always read the media, the headlines, the ESPN bottom line, Fox Sports on side bar as the truth. Don't take it like that because it gets ridiculous. That's just me.
It's not always 100%.
It's
not always the complete story.
The only thing that's ever true about the media, okay, is when I talk about I'm the sexiest YouTuber out there alive, okay, when it comes to the sports stuff. I'm just saying that's the only truth you should ever get out of this.
Hey. This comes from 18 Lockhart real quick. I don't want to hit on this subject because we already know how we feel about it. This is not an NFL-related subject, but a kid in high school just died from a helmet-to-helmet hit. Interesting tidbit.
Helmet to helmet.
Yeah.
Well, my condolences go out to the family and all that. But let me tell you something. If we have a head-to-head contact, you can die off of that too. Am I right?
I guess depending on how you bump your heads, yeah.
I go, of course. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. So we have Andre Rios. He asks, how do you feel about EJ Manuel's performance against the Panthers?
EJ Manuel. I mean, I hit on it a little bit earlier. EJ Manuel, man. Everybody scratching their heads, like doing one of these when it came to the 16th pick in this last draft, and they were looking at the TV with their eyes like this big. Who? Mel Kiper. EJ Manuel's going to be a 3rd round, 4th round guy. Todd McShay. EJ Manuel was going to be a third, fourth round guy. And you know what? Doug Marrone didn't think so. And one little tidbit that not everybody might not know is I think I actually added this in a couple red zone blitzes ago. They drafted him to play in the elements. They drafted him because the way they evaluated him when they looked at all the games he played in bad weather and knowing that Buffalo's going to be snow and wet and rain, you know, that's who they wanted to go with because those games that he played in, he shined and he really performed well. They didn't draft the guy out of Syracuse and Ryan Nassib. They didn't draft Geno Smith. They didn't draft Matt Barkley, who was drafted in the 4th round. They went with EJ Manuel, and right now, he's not looking that bad. I've liked what I've seen in preseason and in the first 2 season games. You know, he just led them down the field last couple minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, I don't exactly remember, to win that game against the Carolina Panthers. So EJ Manuel is my guy right now. I'm liking. He's got a little bit of that. What did they call it, Ezra? That swag. That's EJ Manuel right now, man.
Oh man, the man deserves credit, and I'm gonna tell you something right now. He outplayed Cam Newton in this game, and the Panthers do not have a slouch defense. Okay, they have a really underrated, a solid defense in Carolina. And EJ Manuel went 27 for 39, almost 4 yards for 300 yards. He outplayed. He's just showing his arm strength, his poise, smart decisions. You got to give him credit. He looks right now. He looks like he deserved that 16th pick. So you got to give him a lot of credit. Well, it's only 2 games. Only 2 games, though.
Just off of 2 games, though. Just off of 2 games, because he was one of the quarterbacks that I did not watch tape on. I watched tape on 4 or 5 of the top guys. Didn't watch tape on Manuel. Right now, I'll take him over Geno just after the first 2 games. In my evaluation process, I had Geno. I think I had him ranked as the number 1 guy. Even though I like Mike Glennon out of everybody. He might actually get the start in Tampa Bay if there's trade rumors. I don't know if you guys know. There's trade rumors going around right now with Josh Freeman in Tampa Bay.
Well, who made a Miss Cleo prediction last week about Josh Freeman?
Oh yeah, and you said he might get traded to, let's say, like a Vikings team, right?
And what's one of the teams that might be interested in? Did you read that?
I didn't. Did they say the Vikings?
It said the Vikings and said 2 other teams. Once I read the Vikings, I was like, man, Ezra, you are good. I looked in the mirror. I had to look in the mirror and said, dude, you are good. Man. But did you hear trade? I should put it on ESPN should say Ezra broke the news. And you know what? Damn, I'm good. Whoa. But, if it continues like this and that rift is something real, they might explore it. Guess what? He's younger than Russell Wilson. You know that, right?
Josh Freeman?
Yes. Josh Freeman's like 22 years old. He's a baby.
No. He's not 22. Because he's been in the league for 3 years, hasn't he?
Okay. And Batman is
You're telling me Josh Freeman was in the league at 19? That's not possible.
Josh Freeman, he's 25. Okay, my bad. My bad. Excuse me, I apologize.
Ezra.
He's still younger than Brandon and Whedon.
Well, half the league, more than half the league, probably younger than Brandon Whedon.
Just saying.
Let's backtrack a little. Older question. Do you think, this is brought to you by Bungee Boy, do you think Torrey Smith or Marlon Brown will break the 1,300-yard mark or 12-touchdown mark, both receivers, in Baltimore? If I had to answer the question right away, I'd say yes. And the reason is because Torrey Smith is the number 1 receiver. Jacoby Jones is out right now with an injury. Joe Flacco has nobody else to rely on because Dennis Pitta's out right now. Torrey Smith is that guy in Baltimore. So Marlon Brown, forget about Marlon Brown. He's not. It's Torrey Smith or nobody in Baltimore right now when it comes to receiving. I'm going to say it's possible with Torrey Smith. 1,300 yards or 12 touchdowns.
No, I don't believe so. I don't believe Torrey Smith is that type of number one wide receiver. And at some point, Jim Caldwell, someone in Baltimore, has got to realize Ray Rice is their best offensive weapon. Okay? I don't know when that's going to happen, but I just don't believe Torrey Smith is a number one guy. I don't believe number one guys get those type of numbers. Unless he gets a lot of the, if this is for fantasy purposes, maybe he might get a lot of his yards in or touchdowns in garbage time or when they're trying to make comebacks or something like that. But I'm not a believer in Torrey Smith as the number one.
Got another question for you guys. This one brought to you by Super Hippo 95. Which surprise 2-0 team has the best chance of making the playoffs? The Bears, the Dolphins, or the Kansas City Chiefs? That's a good question.
Even though I've been loving the Bears, okay, even before the season started, I'm going to go with the Dolphins here because they have the easiest division out of these three teams. I'll keep it plain and simple. You got the Jets, you got the Bills, you got the Patriots. Easiest division out of the three.
Bears are in a tough division. Dolphins, I think that division is soft right now.
I think so far I want to say that division is better than what I initially thought because I don't think people thought EJ Manuel was going to be as good as he is so far. Okay, the Dolphins, look, they beat the Colts. And I think they beat the Browns in the first week. I forget who they beat in the first week. But
they beat the Browns, yeah.
So, and a lot of people including me, like the Browns. So, the Dolphins, I think the AFC East is a little better than what people expected. But I still think it's the weakest division out of these three.
You know what? I kind of want to ride with the Kansas City Chiefs on this one. I know Peyton Manning is in their division, but they only play him twice a year. Alex Smith, Andy Reid, that defense that they have, Eric Berry's a stud. You know what, man?
I'm still waiting for another name.
Waiting for another name? Dwayne Bowe, maybe?
I'm still waiting for their best player.
Jamal Charles, maybe?
Okay, it took a while there. Oh, wow.
Their offensive line is stacked. I have names. You know what I'm saying? But the Chiefs. I'm going to pick the Chiefs in this one. The Bears can do it. I'm going to say the Bears can snag a wild card spot. I'm going to say there's a chance the Dolphins can win their division. And I'm going to say the Chiefs will snag a wild card spot. So I think all three of them can make the playoffs. I'm going to say the Chiefs, so I'm going to stick with that team. Now I'm going to give a shout-out to my guy, Taryn. Known Taryn for a while now. I don't know if any of you guys who are viewing right now have seen this intro that I've had on my channel before, but Taryn was the guy who made it for me, so I appreciate that. And Taryn comes with a question for the channel, guys. He comes with a question for the Red Zone Blitz. Can you comfortably say that the Broncos are the best team in the entire league at this point? Ezra. No. You want to swing at it?
I can't say comfortably because we just had a team smack the 49ers 29-3. Would I pick the Broncos as the best team in the league? Yes, but I can't say it comfortably because you got the Seahawks who's been handling business so far, and that defense is looking like the best at this moment. At this moment, looking like the best. And they have Marshawn Lynch is a stud. Stud.
That's tough. Comfortably is too. I don't know if that's a right word. And if I had to just leave the NFC out of it, I would say yes. for their conference. If I had to put all 32 teams into it, that's harder. I think the Broncos are hands down at this point right now a top 5 team, top 3 team. Forget top 5, top 3 for sure. They put up 90 points in their last 2 games. That's ridiculous. Comfortably, that's tough. How about top 2? Let's say top 2 and leave it at that, because you got Seattle right now just balling this last week. Don't forget, though, they did struggle against the Panthers. I was a little bit surprised by that. I was. I think the Seahawks are getting just a little bit too much credit right now. I just gave them a little bit too much credit right now. I need to backpedal. I'm going to say the Broncos are top 3, top 2. I don't know about comfortably, though. Ezra, do you think the Ravens can beat the Houston Texans this week?
Oh, the Texans already had 2 tough games against lesser competition.
No, don't forget, though. I'm going to have to hold you there just for 1 second. The Ravens have been struggling. Continue.
That's true. But I don't think the Texans have played their best so far. And I can say the same about the Ravens. I don't think they have played their best so far. I think it has to do with chemistry issues with the Ravens. And maybe by week 3, they get it a little down pat with it. So I think the Ravens have a chance. Am I going to pick the Ravens at this point? I don't know. We got to wait till my week 3 predictions video, even though last week wasn't so great for me.
This last week was good for me. I actually finished on top of Glass's Pick'em League. Went 13-3 this week, which is pretty solid. But you're going to have to help me out on this for a second. The Texans and the Bengals the last 2 years faced off in the playoffs, and the Texans have come out on top. Now, for the last 2 seasons, did the Texans go and play the Ravens in week 2, or the divisional round? I can't remember exactly. Because if that's the case, yeah, there's a lot of probably built-up anger from Texans fans.
Yes.
So, if I'm wrong, if Ezra's wrong,
because I believe when T.J. Yates was the starting quarterback for the Texans 2 years ago, I think they were facing the Ravens, and last year they lost to the Ravens. So, yes.
Do you think they can make it 3 in a row? I don't know. Actually, I don't know if they played them last year.
Make it 3 in a row in the playoffs, or just 3 in a row?
No. I mean, what I meant to say was the last 2 playoffs and then this year, but I don't know if they played last year. So, forget I just said that. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game because Houston's barely won these last 2 weeks. The Ravens have barely won these last 2 weeks. Aren't they both 2-0? They beat the Browns, and then they beat... Who'd they just beat?
What team are you talking about? I was reading
the Ravens. They beat the Browns, and then 2 weeks ago they
lost to the Broncos. They're not. They're 1-0.
Right.
They're 1-1.
Right. They're 1-1. I don't know. I can't. I'm gonna have to flip a coin on that one. Honestly, I can't make a pick on that game because I just have not seen. It hasn't been typical Ravens football, and it hasn't really been typical. We're gonna get the lead and then destroy you with J.J. Watt from the Houston Texans. So I don't know. I might have to honestly flip a coin for that one.
I think we got an interesting question here. Okay, even though history is not on their side. The postman, which I used to work for the post office years ago, so he gets a shout out from me, my fellow old brother. Okay, the postman 257. He asks, "What about the opposite? Who can make a comeback to the playoffs off a 0-2 start?"
Well, we got to list off the teams who are 0-2. There's 8 of them.
I got you right here. We got the Jaguars.
No.
I know I had to laugh there. I don't know, but I still had to name them. We got the Steelers, Browns, Panthers, Buccaneers, Vikings, Giants, Redskins.
Giants. That's it.
You know, yeah. If you want to talk about Yeah, yeah. That's the team I will go with if you want to talk about best chance. Who do I think will do it though? I actually have since when I talk about these stuff, I always go off of my predictions because I feel strongly about these teams before this season came out. I'm not going to give up on them on week 2. When I guess more of there's a body of work, that's when I'll start changing my thoughts. I still like the Steelers, and I still like the Buccaneers.
Mm-hmm.
I still like those teams. But if you're asking the best chance, I'm going with the Giants because the NFC East is just not all that. I said it before the year even started. Just, you got Dallas, who's Dallas. You got Philadelphia with their defensive problems. You got the Redskins, who's a mess left and right. And you got the Giants, who's been turning the ball over left and right, but they got that ridiculous offense. Okay, they got those weapons too with Knicks, Victor Cruz, and Ruben Randle right now. So I would say the Giants because the division is just a mess right now. There's a lot of flaws in this division. And everyone lost this week in that division. Eagles, Redskins, Washington, and Giants. So
I got in my NFC predictions video, I had the Giants in the playoffs. I had the Giants winning that division. And I wanted to make a surprise pick, just like, a team that you never know that might surprise teams, win a wild card spot. I put the Buccaneers in there because of their defense. Right now they're 0-2. But like you said, I like to stick with the teams that I had predictions for and whatnot. So Giants, Buccaneers, Steelers still have experience on that team. There's still a lot of veterans on that team, so there's a candidate to be able to turn that season around. But the odds are not in all of these 8 teams' favor. I think it was 12% of teams that started 0-2 since I don't know how many seasons ago. Only 12% of those teams have been able to make the playoffs. So
the odds are against them, yes.
Yeah, history's not in their favor right now.
And we got a couple corrections. We got Boogie Boy. He said Houston beat Baltimore last year 42-13. And the Patriots were the team that eliminated the Houston Texans last year. So thank you for the correction, guys. We're not perfect. There's, this chiseledness. You can't have everything perfect. The mind can't be perfect, so I keep the chisel.
It's a lot of information to keep in here, guys. A lot.
We got... Whew.
Go ahead. You got a question or no?
We got another question from Boogie Boy. Will Joe Flacco prove that he deserved all his money by the end of this season, not the future?
Well, I'm going to have to go and see how much he's getting paid this year. He's not getting paid all
19 million, I believe, he's getting
He's not getting all that in 1 year. He's not getting all that this year. So I want to know how much they pretty much, put in the contract for this season, and I'll tell you if he's going to be able to earn it or not. Because
19 million.
I'll say yeah, because that's honestly a quarterback getting paid 19 million who just won the Super Bowl is fair. So if they go 9-7, if they go 10-6, that's still considered a winning season. You won more games than you lost. I think the Ravens will be able to do that. So I'm going to say yeah, he'll earn that money.
I understand why the Ravens gave him the money. I understand the market, everything that the timing of it. I understand why he got $120 million. But is he a $20 million a year quarterback? No. No, no, no. He does not elevate his team. He could be a really good quarterback at times. All right? He's an above average game manager, okay? He's just not a guy. You know what? That sounded a little disrespectful. Okay.
Hey, if Stephen A was here right now, he'd be. You are so disrespectful to Joe Flacco.
That was a little disrespectful there. Well, at least I admitted before someone said something. But he is not. He's not a Peyton Manning. He's not a Tom Brady. He's not a Drew Brees. He's not an Aaron Rodgers. Plain and simple. He's just not that guy to create weapons, to win games, to put a whole season on his back. He may win a game or two, but he can't do it for 5, 6 games like some of these guys can.
Ezra.
He's not
Let me stop you right there. Because this is the thing with me. I don't think he's Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think he's Drew Brees. In fact, I don't think he's obviously below these guys.
I don't even think he's Tony Romo. How about that?
Goodness.
I said this before, but it's all right. Let's go. Continue.
Wow. That's very rude of you, Ezra. You're talking about a Super Bowl winning quarter. You're talking about a quarterback who went 3 games in the postseason with no interceptions, and in the Super Bowl, no interceptions. 11 touchdowns? Was it 11 touchdowns he threw?
Let me ask you a question. Who's the best offensive player on the Ravens?
Ray Rice?
Oh, Ray Rice. Can you say that?
Who's the second?
Can you say that?
Who's the second?
But can you say that about the Broncos? Can you say their running back is their best offensive weapon? Can you say that about a non-quarterback on the Broncos, Packers,
That's because
Cowboys?
they have the best quarterbacks who've ever played.
Can you say that about the Cowboys?
Jason Witten.
Oh, you got to. Oh, come on, man. You're disrespecting. Okay? You're disrespecting. Can you say that about the Giants? Okay? No. You can't say that about a lot of teams. Joe Flacco is not the best offensive weapon on the Ravens, and he's getting paid $20 million.
Do I think? Okay, if you want to rephrase the question, do I think Joe Flacco should be paid that much? No. But you're discrediting him for everything he just did in this postseason to win that team a Super Bowl. Because you just said he can't string 3, 4, 5, 6 games together when he clearly did do it.
I said carry it. I didn't say string. Yeah, any quarterback can win. You know what? Kevin Cobb won 4 straight games last year. Did he carry the team to 4 straight victories?
When you're not turning the ball over.
Don't talk about Joe Flacco carried the Ravens to the Super Bowl. That's ridiculous. I could have sworn Anquan Boulder was getting in there and grabbing passes.
Who was throwing him the ball?
Okay, he's throwing him. Okay, and who's grabbing him out of it? So the wide receiver has to make plays, and he made plenty of big-time plays. Ray Rice made plenty of big-time third-down plays.
When does a quarterback receive the most criticism? Why do we crucify Tony Romo?
No, you crucify Tony, not me.
You don't, because you have a man crush on the guy. But the reason why everybody just gets on Tony Romo is because he he turns the ball over at crucial times and crucial moments, and these aren't even moments in the playoffs. How are you going to criticize a guy who's strung 4 games together for his team in the postseason, meaning he was playing the top of the AFC teams, and then he played the best team in the NFC without turning the ball over, not once, threw 11 touchdowns. It was either 11 or 12 touchdowns in the postseason. These are the best teams in the league, and you're going to say he can't do it. He's not a guy who can do it when he clearly did this last year. I don't know.
You're taking my words, okay, and just misinterpreting it. You're being like the media right now. You're taking it out of context, okay? I said carry a team. This was a team effort by the Ravens. It was a team effort. There was plenty of guys that contributed to this Super Bowl run. He did not carry this team. You know when the Colts had Peyton Manning, he carried that team to the playoffs. You know what happened when he was gone?
We all know what happened.
They had the first overall pick. I'm not saying the Ravens would make the playoffs without Joe Flacco, but they're not getting the first overall pick.
Let me word it differently then. You can make mistakes in the regular season as long as you make the playoffs, but when the Ravens made the playoffs, and just talking about Joe Flacco here because you are right, we give too much credit to quarterbacks when it comes to winning postseason games and Super Bowls because it is a team sport and it is a team effort. But when Joe Flacco had to play, And when Joe Flacco had to perform and not make any mistakes, he did exactly that. And that's all I'm saying, because when it came time to win those games, Joe Flacco definitely contributed to those W's without making mistakes, without turning the ball over, and that's when quarterbacks get criticized the most. So that's why I'm really, I'm defending Flacco here for that aspect.
Oh, man.
Tony Romo over Joe Flacco? Come on, Ezra.
Yes, I said this last year. You think of a change?
When was the last time he won a playoff game? When was the last time? Okay, I know I'm going against what I just said, but I'm so high on quarterbacks turning the ball over. You turn the ball over, you're giving the other team a chance to score more points on you. And that's exactly what Tony Romo does in crucial Week 16 and Week 17 games when it's down to the wire. He needs to win that NFC East because we all know how close that division is. When it's time to beat the Giants or beat the Redskins, whoever it is in that division, he can't do it. He'll throw 2 or 3 interceptions in those crucial games. You're giving the ball over to the other team to score points, and that's why I criticize Tony Romo. Because in that instance, at that point in time, it's on his shoulders because he's the one giving the other team the ball. And that's why I criticize him.
Okay. Like you and everybody, I can never win an argument against, or when I'm talking about Tony Romo or anything like this, because I already know what the deal is. I already know. There's very few of us that defend him and understand his, I don't want to say greatness because he's not great, but oh,
hey,
man.
We got a question from our buddy from Team Boy TV, Jarvis, or is it no? Sorry, is it Javaris? I believe it's Javaris. I'm sorry if I just butchered the name. I'm sorry, but we did get it via Google Plus, and I see it right here. It says, "How long will we have to wait until Giovanni Bernard is starting in front of Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis in Cincinnati?" That's a good question because Giovanni Bernard was actually the first running back drafted in this year's draft. So Ezra, I mean, any thoughts on that running back situation in Cincinnati when Gio will start or eventually start over Ben Jarvis?
Even if he starts over him, I still think they're going to have that 50-50 back system because I think they like the toughness from the law firm and they want that playmaking ability from Gio. So I think it depends on the situation and stuff like that, but I guess soon. I think starting as a running back in the NFL is kind of overrated when you have a 50-50 system, like basketball. When you got a guy coming off the bench and he's getting 30 minutes a game. He's not a starter, but he gets starter minutes. And I think Gio and the law firm will get quote-unquote starter carries. So I think they're both going to get between that 10 to 15 carry range. So maybe he might not start, but he might get those carries because they're looking for that situation. They're looking for that lightning and thunder. So it's a really tough question to answer, but to start, I don't think it matters much in Cincinnati.
Now, I think if they do decide to go in a 50-50, split back thing, you have to remember that they're probably starting to prepare Giovanni for a bigger role in the future, considering that older running backs tend to wear down pretty fast. Average lifespan of a running back in the NFL is only 3 years. So Ben Jarvis has been in the league for probably a bit longer than that now. His tires might be wearing out. They need a fresh back in there. And again, first running back drafted in 2013. I don't know, it's like second round, 36th overall pick or something like that, somewhere in that range. Point is, Giovanni Bernard is going to have an increased role probably next season. As for this year, they'll probably gradually give him more carries every single game, but I don't see them completely shying away from Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, but he might become the number 2 guy there in Cincinnati eventually. But right now, it's still Ben Jarvis at number 1. We've been on for about an hour and a half. We might take a couple more questions and then call it a night. But Team Boyd TV says that he thinks Gio's like Reggie Bush was supposed to be. Okay, I actually, quick thing on Reggie Bush, I'm actually surprised that he's been able to pick up his career a little bit. 2 years with Miami, and now he's looked pretty decent with the Lions. So whatever they were doing with the Saints, I don't think they were utilizing him correctly. I saw a question earlier that I wanted to answer, and I shied away from it. Let me see if I can go find it here. This is a pretty good question. Comes from AstroStar49. Do you think players are a lot more just about personal business these days, meaning getting their money, getting paid, signing the big contracts, compared to having passion for the game? AstroStar thinks that it just seemed different in the 90s and earlier than nowadays. What do you think about that, Ezra?
I think there's some truth to that, but it's just the culture, and
Greg Jennings.
and it's just the way sports has evolved. If you think about how franchises are valued now, our players are endorsement deals and stuff like that, it's increased by maybe a 500% fold. You know, before Michael Jordan and stuff like that, you know, the guys were in commercials, but they didn't endorse multiple products left and right or getting big-time $1 million deals. So, yeah, I think people they think about it a lot more, and that's one of their goals is to become a brand. I remember even this year with Geno Smith and talking about his new agent. Remember there was controversy. He fired his agent maybe a couple days after the draft and such. And he was like, well, I wasn't comfortable about the brand of Geno Smith and stuff like that. So guys think about it. But I don't know if it takes away from the passion. I don't think so, because you're playing this game from such a young age. You're honing your skills. You're developing your skills in this game from such a young age. I think you need to have passion to do that. And I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't want to say that. It's just the way the athlete is a celebrity now. It's just the way it is. It's just money is a big factor, and that's not only for players. It's for owners. It's the decisions by commissioners, commission committees. It's not only the players. I want you guys to realize that. It's from top to bottom. It's a business for everyone. For everyone. And why not? If LeBron can make $80 million off the court, why not? It's a priority. You know what? If Gillette comes up to you for $1,000 tomorrow, you're going to say yes.
I think we're just the way this country runs. You were raised, you go to high school, you get your, you graduate, go to college. After you go to college, you try to find a job, and after you try to find a job and you get that job, promotions. Start, rising in the ranks within that company. And how this relates to the NFL is those players that think like that, well, you know what? I signed my rookie contract for $3 million. And now, I won, defensive rookie of the year. I went to 2 Pro Bowls. Why shouldn't I get a big contract? This is what we all, kind of live for nowadays. You want to keep going up in the ranks. You want to get that higher paycheck. You want to keep getting paid more money. So for the business-minded people, business-minded players, that's how they think, and that's probably what it is. For the players who have that passion where they're willing to stay with the team, take a home team discount, I have just a little bit more respect for those guys, just because they could have taken more money. They could have been living a little bit more comfortably, but they chose to please the fans. They chose to please the franchise that they've stuck with for however long they've been with. They chose to, I don't know, it's just, there's a little bit more respect for those guys than the guys who go out and grab the money. And if I had the option, if it was a matter of me getting paid $3 million a year and stay with the team that drafted me, stay with the fans that have, grown to be attached to me, and I've got, kind of a home base, charities, whatnot. Don't forget about those. A lot of players do charities and stuff, so good for them. But $3 million a year, $4 million a year, I'm still getting paid more money than 95% of people in this country. I'm going to be living comfortably either way. Now, it'd be nice to have an extra $1 million, but I don't know. I'd probably stay a little bit more humble. That's just me. Ezra, you probably would take the money.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Give me that cheddar. It all depends on personal preference. It depends where I'm playing at, and I like warm weather. Okay, but warm weather state, and especially if it's got no state tax like Texas or Florida, see you later. Even though I'm from New York, New York's got winter. I'll see you later, man. It all depends. I respect athletes more that say, I took it because of the money. I did it because of this, this, and this. I respect the player that's just truthful. That's all it is. That's all I care about.
All right, we're going to take a few more questions, and then we are out of here. This one comes from Gustavo Medina. He says, David, I just joined the live stream. I don't know if you've talked about this yet, but can you talk about the Patriots tight ends, which we have not talked about, and how you think Tom Brady's going to do? I'm assuming this is talking about week 3. For those of you who don't know, the status on Rob Gronkowski right now is 50-50, meaning there's a chance he plays, there's a chance he doesn't. This goes back to his back surgery. This goes back to his arm surgeries. So right now, he's still in recovery mode. He's been practicing. He's been on the field with his team. As for prime time, as going out and playing, doing the real thing, right now they're still shaky. So he's doubtful. Gronkowski, not sure. Sudfeld, I haven't looked up. Do you know what's going on with Sudfeld, Ezra, or not?
I know he's playing, but they're rotating guys right now. It's just their offense is in flux. And Tom Brady really doesn't have any confidence in anybody besides Danny, but he's out, and Edelman. And, Edelman can't carry a wide receiving core. So they're just in flux, and their tight end situation is also in flux. And they're just waiting for Gronk, and hopefully he's there in another week or whatever. I'm hoping in a couple more weeks because I'm a Jets fan, even though he's on my fantasy team. But I got to go with reality over fantasy at this point. JTS, Jets. You know what the deal is.
Another Cincinnati question from Team Boyd. Looks like Dalton's accuracy was a little off last week against the Steelers. We still have the Bengals in the catbird seat in the AFC North. Okay, so he's asking, do we still have the Bengals winning that division in the AFC North?
Yep.
I'm going to say yeah, too. Steelers have looked like crap.
I was going to say the Ravens haven't looked so hot. Steelers, their offense is a joke at this point, and Browns are still the Browns. So, yeah, Cincinnati, they look really good. Like their running game looked really sharp last night. That D-line, even though it was the Steelers' offensive line, but that D-line was destructive. So, yeah.
All right, and we're ending out the Red Zone Blitz with 18 Lockhart. He asks, when are you going to name me the official commenter of the Red Zone Blitz? 18 Lockhart, you have been named the official commenter of the Red Zone Blitz.
Even though I love 18 Lockhart, he goes hard every week, but I think it's a little too early to name him the official.
How about
because Super Hippo, even though he hasn't been he's having an off night tonight, but Super Hippo, he 95, he deserves some cred. Okay, Astro Star was really hot tonight. He was hitting them 3-pointers. He was hitting them bombs tonight. So even though 18 Lockhart probably might hate on me for saying this stuff, but he's had some competition tonight. But if we had to pick a leader, if we had to pick a number 1 overall standing right now, if this was standings, he'll be the number 1 leader. But the season's not over yet. You can't just win it like that.
Yeah, if we want to go back to preseason, 18 Lockhart had a very solid performance.
Yeah. If you want to go with power rankings, 18 Lockhart's number 1. All right, Super Hippo is probably number 2.
Is
but
he okay? But let me ask
jumping the ranks.
Let me ask you a question though. Is 18 Lockhart worth a first overall draft selection in the commenter draft?
If you want to go, man, yes, he would deserve it. He would deserve it. But getting drafted and having a couple regular season games, just like EJ Manuel.
Sleeper, like you mentioned, man, 2 sleepers. You got Super Hippo 95. You got Astro Star.
So Super Hippo ain't no sleeper, okay? You better give him some.
Some of the guys that might go under the radar a little bit, sneak up on 18 Lockhart.
I like this question. Look at that. Here we go. Astro Star 49. Just one more. Do you think cut blocks should be abolished in the NFL? It's really dangerous tactic, even though it's legal. I've been saying this for years. You're talking about safety, but since it doesn't concern a lawsuit or a quarterback, the NFL just, hey, whatever. You got guys putting their shoulder into ankles, knees, and stuff like that. Those are 300 pounds of force going into those sensitive areas. So, yeah, that should have been gone a long time ago. That's my opinion.
I'm against anything dirty.
Not me. All right, ladies? Okay?
Different subject, Ezra. I'm talking about the NFL. Man, I'm saying, I don't like dirty players. I don't like players who go out and try to intentionally hurt somebody else. If it happens by accident, that's a completely different story. If you go out to intentionally hurt someone, you know what? I hope karma comes back because I hope someone else comes out and chop blocks you. And we actually saw that. We hit on Brandon Merriweather earlier. Concusses Eddie Lacy, and then he concusses himself. So I actually had no sympathy for that guy when I saw him laying there. I usually do. I hope that guy is okay. But for what he did, how he goes out and tries and hits a guy helmet to helmet, and then he does it again, but he hurts himself, I was like, you know what? That time you brought it on yourself. So I don't like it. Cut blocks, low blocks, chop blocks, celery, cutting anything. I don't care. Any kind of chops and blocks and get it out of there. Stop doing it. You're hurting people. Cut blocks, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's garbage. It's baloney. Speaking of bologna, I might go make myself a bologna sandwich. It's 10:30 Central Time, 11:30 Eastern Time. We have been on for an hour and a half. It's been awesome. Red Zone Blitz, man. Me and Ezra.
You change up your voice at the end when you sign it out here like I'm and Ezra. Red Zone Blitz.
It's been good, man.
Those ESPN's internships is really, taking effect on you. I'm just saying.
18 Lockhart. Thank you. Super Hippo, if you're still here, thank you. Astro Star, Team Boy TV, Bungee Boy, we forgot about him. He could be like a late first-round pick there. Ezra.
18 Lockhart. Ezra, back off. This is my moment. Like I said, I was going to catch some heat for that. But I gave you praise. And thank you for joining us, guys. Everyone in the comment. Even Bungee Boy, he said some stuff in the comment box that may or may not be true, but thank you, I appreciate it, man, and thank you for looking.
Hey, Red Zone Blitz wrapping it up for week 2. Definitely going to be bringing you guys week 3 next week. We'll see how those games end. If you guys haven't checked us out on Facebook, check us out, facebook.com/WakeUpItsFootball. For Ezra, it's facebook.com/IdiotSportsTalk. Check us out on Twitter. Just type those in the search bar. You'll find us. But again, that's all we got for you guys.
That's all we got. And this Bernard Pierce for the Ravens, still Ray Rice, the best offensive player. So, no, he's not having a breakout year. That's what Big Boy wanted to see. I'm a Bungee Boy.
Bungee Boy. Last question answered, man. See, we answer everybody's questions here on the Red Zone Blitz. Ezra,
Ray Rice, man. Ray Rice.
Signing out, man. Salute.